What's up, guys? Look, this is episode 60. So welcome to Big Beard and Friends. And if you're still watching and you've been watching all this time, thank you. The shows are trying to get a little better in there, and I'm trying to add more the more subscribers I get. With that being said, today it's a little different. Well, not really, but really. I think that today I want to spend some time to talk about the things that we all, some of the things anyway, that we all go through, but nobody talks about much, that we all experience, but nobody talks about, that we all have in common and nobody speaks on. All of it. But because of the time I have today and the 20, 30 minutes that I spend here talking, I'm just going to cut right into the chase. And first, I'm going to talk about fitting in. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this show was not pre-made. The feeling of this is right now. What I'm trying to say is, usually I do some notes, or I write, or I have a notebook, and I write down some stuff that I talk about to myself, and, kind of do the monologue, not in the mirror, but, go through myself. But this show's not like that today. So I'm going to talk about fitting in. Fitting in is one of those things that all of us want to do. Now, I'm sure that there's some who absolutely, don't care. But for the most part, people want to fit in. They want to be, well, for lack of a better word, they want to be wanted. They want to be needed. They want that friendship. And a lot of times we think that we have to fit in to do these things. Now me, I'm going to move this here. I keep hitting my elbow here. Me, I can't go through this whole life or world, universe, galaxy, however celestial you want to talk about it. I, Big Beard, cannot go through this life trying to fit in when I was born to stand out. Now, I don't mean that others can't do that. I don't mean that others shouldn't do that. I think everybody should be themselves. Some of us are excited all the time by nature. Sometimes it's like, oh, you've had too much coffee. Oh, today you've had too much caffeine. He must have ate a lot of sugar today. I don't need that. There's people in this world, and I'm sure there's a number or a percentage or something of the sort. I don't know the analytics, stats, or anything, but there's people in this world that just want to be accepted by being them. There's incidences where people get shut down instantly. And they can be in the middle of telling a story. And while they're in the middle of telling a story, getting excited, somebody can, cut them short and start mocking them or saying something about them and they'll never really know how it hurt them inside. But they feel like that if they tell those people how they really felt, they'd probably be made fun of, and they don't want to be rude to a person. I know these things. See, my whole life, I've been that way. Those who know me go, man, you could have never been bullied. All the things that I could talk about was why I am who I am today. And I always credit drama class. I hope or think at least one of you that we're watching right now, we're in my drama class. That probably did not mean a lot to anybody at that time. Maybe it did, but what I took about from that was it molded me and helped make me who I was. That drama class, in high school. I was always shy. I was always talkative, but only if I knew you really, you know. There's a lot of people that know my name and know me, but they don't know me. And that's all right if they never do. There's some people that will never know that I would like to sit down and kick it with them. Well, I say that all the time, and maybe I should. But what I'm getting at is I wasn't always the loud guy. I wasn't always the guy who talked to a camera. I wanted to play with the cameras at home and sit them on my shoulders and film each other and my friends. But I never really wanted to be that person. I mean, you know, everybody goes through things in their life that they keep inside. The other day, a friend of mine told me that he said, man, me and you are on some Jim Carrey type ish, man. Paraphrasing the words there. I said, some Jim Carrey ish. What do you mean by that? He said, man, I feel like me and you make everybody laugh through our pain. Now, the pain, the word pain, you know, when you hear that, you're going, what? The pain can be different types, but basically what he went on to tell me was that we all want to fit in. We all want the same for each other. We all want this, but some of us want it more than others. Some of us just make others feel good because we know what it's like to be down. I was like, man, this is true. It's like doing these videos for everybody on here. Once again, I keep saying things like those who know me, those people that have been around me for 25, 30 years or more. They're like, dude, this is him. But I don't, it's like fitting in with that. I'm taking a big chance. My numbers don't grow. People don't grow. The views don't. I don't really care. I know that certain people are watching. And when I get messages, like I said, I'll have to share them someday. I will compile some messages, just a few, and I will contact the people, and I want to ask them, can I use them if I don't use their name or likeness thereas, you know. But fitting in is something we all struggle with. We can't always reciprocate or give back the feelings to someone, especially after they've made you feel a certain way, and you can't go, hey, that's not what it was. Sometimes we just sit there and we grin and nod and make them think that we're all, I know, you know. But it's not to be taken to the way that you're going to be mean to that person, you know. You don't have to be mean to a person because you disagree. Some people are just mean. Some people are just mean. You can always have something snappy to say back. I do. We were talking at church Sunday, you know, the pastor's talking about your tongue can hurt. Well, yeah, we know that with words. But he goes on, and I'm, you know, to talk like it can be like a sword, it can slice. I'm like, yeah, you know, we've heard this, but it can pierce. And not that a pastor shouldn't feel this way or hadn't went through these experiences, but he goes on to say, you know, he's slit with his tongue. He's pierced his wife with the verbal tongue, you know, of bad words. And he sliced her down to size. I mean, you guys get it, the comparison. But it stuck out to me. That sermon stuck out. And I often go up to the pastor and I go up to the guys at church and I'm like, guys, this was great, you know, this was awesome. And I think that sometimes they think that it's all just like, oh, well, he's doing, well, they might not now. It's been like 5 years. Thank you, guys. I'm not good expressive as you think, you know. But I really mean what I say. I don't, you know, when I talk about fitting in, we want that, but to do what everybody else is doing in order to fit in is not necessarily what we need to do. Giving praise, giving thanks. When people look at you and go, you're all over the place. I don't know what you're doing. Sometimes I look at you and I'm like, I love you. You're too much. Or I can't understand you. I've had people say this to me my whole lives. What I'm getting at, folks, is it's okay to be yourself. And if people are out there and they don't understand, or they make fun, or they poke, you didn't need to be around them. Now, don't go through all your friends today or watching this right now and go, oh, well, I'm going to cut all these friends off because of what he said. No. I'm nobody. Somebody told me the other day, you're somebody. Okay, fair enough. He's like, you preach all this to everybody else and you tell this to everybody else, but you don't worry about yourself, man. You're right. I don't worry. I mean, look at me. Big beard. I'm just saying. Do I think I'm a horrible person? No. Do I want to fit in with everybody? No, I don't. Am I all right with somebody looking at me and going, he's too much, whatever? Yeah, I'm cool with that. If everybody liked me, it would suck. You should be that way too. Don't worry about fitting in. Don't follow the in crowd. If you always follow the in crowd to fit in, you will get lost. Put that up there, somebody. Quote that. I'm just a very expressive person once a week. I'm just saying. Expressive. Expressiveness is the next word I'm going to talk about. Expressive. Expressiveness. Is that plural? Is that okay? Is that proper? To express yourself in a way that others don't understand, but you know is right. And it's not like a fighting I'm right thing. You just know, oh, yeah, I'm all right. The whole world can be against you, but I express myself to say, nah. The whole world can do it, but you gotta have expressiveness to say, I don't want to do it. I don't like it. Oh, you're trying to be mean? No. Can expressive be art? Yeah. Art. Art can come in many a form. It's true. Art can come in many a form. Express yourself through art, through words, through poems, through songs, through lyrics. I said art, but drawing. Express yourself. You know? Yeah, I know that song comes to mind, don't it? It's just, it is what it is. I think there's so many people out there who are afraid. Once again, I'll use me as an example. I'm not afraid to express myself. If you take that and say, oh, well, he doesn't care to be an ass. Maybe I don't. He doesn't care what people think about him. Oh, my goodness. So what? I'm offended at what he says. Oh, my gosh. You're offended? Because I express myself in a way that you didn't understand, so you get offended? I will say this, quoting a guy that I read the other day. This guy, it's Stephen Fry. You can look him up. To be offended at something? Who gives a shit? So what? I'm offended. So what? Now, I don't mean that like do something on purpose to get somebody riled up and make them be offended and then go, oh, don't intentionally. You got to know where your heart is. I know people that cuss, got tattoos, that drink all the time and do things they shouldn't do, in my opinion. But they're some of the best people I've ever been around on this planet. I remember my pastor one time telling me, and I read it in his book. Yes, my pastor has a book. So it's beautiful. He says in there that, I'll go ahead and paraphrase, but he says in there how he went to a church one time, a biker church. And before he knew it, he was crying by himself, and there was like 10 or 12 or more people around him praying while he was crying to himself on his knees, and he didn't realize it. He said he looked around the room, and before he knew it, it hit him that he was surrounded by these big, burly tattoos and people that had done time, and then the imperfect people were leading him to Christ, you know? I could get teary-eyed about that now. That is the point that got me. He expressed himself enough with his situation to share it with me, the reader, that did something to me. I never... And then I got to thinking, because of that, like, wow, maybe I need to talk more. Because of the way I look, because of the way I... And I don't mean like, oh, I'm this way, that way, look this way, look the bad, good, good, bad. I just mean it like, I'd be scared or afraid, not like in a corner crying, wanting me to get my weapon, afraid. But I mean, look at me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm hard on myself. And I know I am more than anybody watching. What I'm also getting at, again, I'll use this term again, is express yourself. Because you never know who else is watching. Pastor writes it in his book. He expressed himself, expressed the situation to me, the reader, and it changed me. Some of you might have to go ahead and back this video up when it's over. You might have to go back and be like, what was he saying? I don't understand. He's too quick. It's okay. We meet people in our lives because we need that part or that void in our life or that little bit of space in our life filled. And it's with these people we meet and we don't know it. And when we reject that, we get annoyed with those people. Now me, I'm myself. 25-8. The buddy I talk to many a times a week, but at least once a week, the guy, the good friend of mine who holds me for accountability, reminds me once a week because I've asked him to. He does it many a times, but at least once a week, I tell him to hold me accountable for certain things, and he says, I'm not holding you accountable for nothing, but yet he calls. See, I express myself to him that I need somebody who's going to be hard on me, but understand that I can struggle, and somebody who can struggle too. Express to me what I'm supposed to do. Please explain, and and he says, I can't hold you accountable for nothing. And being my friend, those weren't his exact words, but close enough. Because he does that. And he knows. I mentioned him last week. You know, you're watching. Because you do things like that, it keeps me like, if I ever need to be grounded, I remember things like that. Yeah. Which brings me on to the next one. Segue, kinda. Losing yourself. I think that we all have this fear of things changing in the blink of an eye, because we know in the back of our heads they can. But if all that were to happen and you haven't prepared, but you can't really, if you haven't, somewhere along your journey, if you haven't lost yourself, I have, in life, amen to you. But me, somewhere I have lost myself, and I found myself along the way again. And I don't want to let that, I don't want to let that go. It's okay to lose yourself. I'm noticing that. But you got to find yourself. You got to get in contact with yourself. Now, there's a lot of people here and there's like, what is he talking about? I'm simply talking about losing yourself somewhere in life, but not getting lost. Now, for me, once again, I'm referring to me a lot because it's always the people that you think ain't are. And people that you think are ain't. And people that you think are okay, they're not. People that you think ain't, they probably are. It's not always holding true, but when I lost myself, and I don't know where. I mean, I'm 38 years old, and I'm like, I've had a wife and a family for almost 20 years. And it's like, what happened before then? I know what happened, but I don't know what happened. Meaning, I lost myself along the way. I just was all over the place. Every cardinal direction I was pulled, and I thought it was okay to live a certain way and do a certain things and be around certain people, and that I didn't understand the words that people were telling me were wrong and they were toxic, and I lost myself. And when I found myself, and what do I mean by finding myself? Getting right in my life. Cutting things and people and certain things you do and habits out of your life and being strong and knowing that my will to want to change was way much and is way much more greater than my will to want to stay where I'm at. So it's time to apply that muscle and apply that determination. And I pray. If you don't pray, it's all right, but I pray. I pray to find, this is how I pray, to find the guidance that you instilled in me, the determination, the patience, and the strength to do all that is instilled in you. At least I believe that. And I pray to find it. And perhaps by losing myself or oneself, that may be just enough what we need to be like, this is exactly what I need. This is what we need. Guys, I'm going to let this music play us out. But there's 3 things that I say. Oh, wait a minute. You might see this over here real quick. It keeps on repeat over here. This is just a small video of a character I'm going to introduce. His name is Trike. This has been playing this whole entire broadcast and this whole entire filming because I just want you guys to put that in your heads in there. What are those 3 things that I say? Oh yeah, love, peace, chicken grease. Later, guys.
Presentations.